Greetings, good people. Your boy Lino Manjoli back again. I've been absent and quiet for a while, and firstly, I want to apologize for that. I was infected with the COVID-19 virus, and it got me off, and I couldn't get a lot of guests or guests at all on my show in trying to make sure that I follow the protocols and the procedures of self-isolation and the rest. But I'm back now. I'm healthy, and I really want to say thank you for those that have liked, commented, subscribed in the previous videos, and we would like to continue to encourage you to please do so, and the content will keep on coming. Just a brief not review, but a brief preview of what is to come in the channel. We're going to have an interview with a blockbuster interview with one of the leaders at the University of the Western Cape, the more current leaders at the University of the Western Cape. And when that drops, it's going to just be focusing not only on the Fees Must Fall moment in 2015, but also reflecting on what we've seen in South Africa happening recently with the student protests, and how that connects live wires to the general resistance of inequity in South Africa, and also the sad and tragic loss of the life of Mr. Ntumba. I want to say to you guys that please continue to like, please continue to comment, please continue to subscribe and engage with the YouTube channel. I will be back with content, I do promise that, and I want us to engage and question everything, including ourselves. Aluta continua. On top of the student protests that have been happening in South Africa and what they've revealed about general inequity in South Africa and general problematic set of social organizations, set of social norms in our country, I also want to mention something that we might have overlooked or possibly forgotten, because capitalist society is so rapid. We move so quickly, we forget things as soon after, a day or two after they've passed. Now I want us to think about what are the possible learnings that we could have taken from the passing of Isilo Samabandal, King Zulu, and the reaction from general South African society around that, and what sort of questions that it provoked around our relationship with the monarchy in the post-colonial and the post apartheid state in South Africa particularly, and perhaps more broadly in Africa. What is our relationship with monarchies? Are they necessary in terms of as a unit of authority in South African society and African society broadly? And I think when we asked that question, because that was a question that was brought up a lot during the period, but I think the first thing that is important is first to acknowledge that there were people who were condemning those who had particular memories of Isilo, negative memories in particular, which I share a lot in terms of his homophobic statements that he'd made during a particular time in our history, and also his incitement of violence towards Africans that are not particularly from South Africa, and those are legacies that will haunt him and whoever supports that kind of action forever. But now, that important thing, first of all, is to defend the right of those people who want to be able to remember him like that, because death not only provides us an opportunity to mourn, but it provides us an opportunity to take stock. That when one passes, we sort of get a chance to think about them and remember them in terms of what they've contributed. And I think the people have the right to do that. And when we do that, we must continue to just be careful and sensitive to the histories and the thinkings of other people who are affected not only by the passing of the person, but also by the legacies or the legacy left by the person. And I think in that score, Ubuntu is an important African guiding morality that we must be able to not allow to dissipate within our engagements with each other. That we can mourn someone while being critical of their legacy, while respecting the fact that they've passed, and respecting the fact that there are people who mean the world, who this person means the world to. But it is important to not erase the experiences of the people who experience this person negatively, who experience this person in ways that were very oppressive to themselves. So those things can happen, they are not mutually exclusive. And that is what I think the lesson is generally for South African society, is that you can't want to say that because your experience of something is great, that the person whose experience is bad is discounted. It doesn't make for critical engagement or any critical society at all. And so the broader question, and I'd like you guys to add in the comments, is that what relationship do we have with monarchs in South Africa? And I don't want to, in Africa and broadly as well, I don't want to limit it to South Africa, because our relationship with monarchs goes beyond the traditional authorities in South Africa. It goes to show that perhaps the timing was perfect around what was happening with the royal monarch, the royal family in England, where we saw much. I mean, if we could aggregate or sort of compile statistics of the engagements that were happening by general South African society on social media, because that's probably how we can aggregate it, or that's how we can calculate it, in terms of their interaction with the royal family scandal around racism and the ill treatment of Meghan Markle, and the passing of Isilo and the passing of Ingosi Yamaxhosa just in 2019, and the recent happenings in the Bapedi royal family as well, is that probably all those African scenarios that I've mentioned would probably not be as much of engagement as the royal family in England. And not to say that we discount the fact that the royal family is much more of an overarching presence than traditional authorities in Africa, but to say that we seem to have a less critical relationship with the royal family in England than we have with our own monarchs here. But we forget that they come from the same sort of logic, and that logic is a logic of empire, a logic of traditional rule, because the royal family is traditional authority in England, just that it's not traditional authority here. And so we must be able to interrogate ourselves: how do we receive things in relation to how we receive things that are external to us as South Africans? And I think that is something that has been missing fundamentally in our engagement on this. And also, what has reared its ugly head, sorry about that, reared its ugly head, is the question of tribalism whenever we have a chance, or perhaps let me put it this way, when we have an opportunity to unpack the national question in South Africa of who are we as a nation, what defines us as a nation, and what is the common unifying factor that is going to bring us all together as South Africans, Azanians, in occupied Azania, to say we are a nation that shares A, B, and C. And also we can accept that we're a nation of diverse cultures, but what is it that we are on common ground about? What are we to be called? What is our identity? And that is a particular part of the national question that has been left unresolved, obviously, perhaps for political reasons, whether advertently or inadvertently. But we've missed another opportunity for us to be able to open that can of worms and be able to get into a battle with those worms and come out, whether clean or dirty, but at least we have got the moral and intellectual responsibility to try. So like, comment, share, subscribe. If you're provoked, please air your provocations. If there's convergences, please air them. Divergences, please air them. We're trying to just create conversation. We're trying to make sure that nothing that we say is not recorded, just to create an archive of our thoughts, an archive. Perhaps this is my thoughts. When I say ours now, I probably attribute this to more people than myself, which is probably wrong, but these are my thoughts, and these are my set of provocations that I have with recent occurrences in our young democracy, as they say. A luta continua.